Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. So today, for all intents and purposes, kind of wraps up earnings season. All right, I mean, earnings season we're already a good portion of the way through, but just tonight, really kind of like the last major night of names. Okay, you have just a ton of tech, a bunch of retail, and you're probably not going to see a grouping like this maybe until next quarter. So as earnings season starts to wind down, obviously there's going to be more focus on swing trades, right? And I just want to highlight a setup that's been working pretty well recently, and also how that kind of like translates to like a new idea that I'm looking at right now. So right, right, off the names I was screening this week, Allergan like popped up right at like the top. All right, so um, these bearish pennants, right? There's been a few that have really started to trigger and break down quickly, and I mean it's kind of like a symptom of the overall market kind of creeping lower. You're not really getting like huge flushes in some of like the FANG names, but these setups that are kind of like squeezing and kind of like narrowing into like this point have started to see some follow through to the downside, and that's a pretty good sign. If you like to trade two ways and you're looking for bearish bets, right? So with Allergan, it was kind of like a twofold, right? So not only basically since the end of last year has the high of the highs been steadily getting lower, and the lows been steadily getting higher, right? But what you would have noticed is if you follow the space is that there's just been wave after wave after wave of selling in specialty pharma generics. So Teva, right? Mylan, right? Endo, right? And MNK is another big one. So it Allergan a little bit different, but still kind of falls into that category. So when you see a bearish setup in a bearish sector that starts to trigger, it seems like right now, I mean, this isn't always the case, but in the market that's acting weaker and you're starting to get paid on some of these setups, like this is the type of pattern where you're starting to see some quicker follow through, right? So what you're looking at in particular for this type of setup is when you get the break of the pennant, right? And then once it takes out the first low, you want to see it start build momentum, and then each consecutive low it clears, it should continue to accelerate, right? So it took out the May low, and then really started to drop, and then it took out the February low, and then you really started to see a sharp acceleration volume wise down through the December low, right? So keep that in mind because now I'm going to talk about BHC. So this is the old Valiant VRX. New name, but now it's starting to shape up similar. Okay, so this falls into the same category, specialty pharma, generic, and what you're seeing now is the name that's starting to lose the bottom of the pennant, right? So there's Allergan was a little bit different in the sense that it was the pennant, so the 52-week low fell within the pennant. This one, the 52-week low falls outside of the pennant, but that means that that's going to be like your primary target, right? So it already took out the May-April low. Now it built momentum through the January low, and as the pendant starts to develop to the downside, right, the breakdown starts to develop. There's really only one key area of reference underneath, and that's the December low. Uh, but again, like these are the types of names you're watching. These are the types of setups you want to be focusing on. If we keep getting like this bearish kind of like steadily grinding lower action in the market, right? I mean, like, these are the types of patterns where you're seeing follow through. It's not the breakouts and the rallies. It's the breakdowns through support, right? Or these pennant breakdowns where you start to see kind of like an acceleration lower as you start to clear consecutive levels, right? So this was an idea that's going out tonight, um, and typically when these things start to work, you want to see some fast action. So a month and a half, 2 months. I mean, like those are the types of time frames if you have to go out like 3, 4, 5 months, you're probably paying for more time than the setup should need, right? Because like once these go, they really should start to build momentum. So you want to see these things play out faster as opposed to longer, right? So when it breaks down, you don't really want it to reset the pennant. You want it to break down and start to follow through. So 1 month, 1.5 months, 2 months. If you want to push it out through a catalyst, maybe you go like a couple months out because earnings season gets going towards the end of July. Um, but keep this one on your radar, right? I mean, like these are the types of things I'm always screening for. The fact that the sector is so weak definitely is a plus as well. So, yeah, keep it on your radar, right? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this one, or on Allergan, or really any other trade. So definitely reach out, all right, guys. So I hope you have a fantastic night, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.